change my topic from that. Okay, sorry.
All right. Well, we're here today with Allison Fitzwater from Key High School. Is that here in Iowa?
It is. It's in Lansing, which is the very northeast corner.
Great. Great. And you're a high school science teacher. Your research is in the area of evidence-based argumentation in the development of essential scientific reasoning in high school science and engineering courses. What does that mean?
Actually, I changed my topic when I got here.
All right.
I've had a really exciting change in my research and what I've been doing. I also teach high school engineering classes. In my high school engineering class, what happens is they get a whole bunch of theory, and then they get a chance to implement that theory and build a project. And I noticed that my girls were doing really well at implementing and design, but they were kind of failing when it got to the build. They were getting really paralyzed. So starting a while ago, I started to look at why my girls don't build. What about the teaching environment? What about what's happening in their head? What about what society tells them contributes to them not doing these builds really well? So part of that is that there aren't very many women in engineering. So because there aren't women in engineering, there aren't role models for these girls. So these girls don't have someone to say, hey, I can do that like this person, or I can do that like this person. So they don't have that like the boys naturally have built in.
So how do you address that? How do we get more women engaged in science and engineering?
Partly we need to think about how we teach them. Girls work really well under a collaborative model where they all decide something, they work together. It's about the betterment of a we model. Boys are all about competition. It's all about me instead of we. So the boys are out to win. The girls are out for the betterment of the group. And engineering classes and projects are designed for that absolutely competitive model.
So how have you changed your engineering projects to address the learning style of the girls?
Now, it's not so much who does the best project that gets the best grade. It's who does things differently, who adds something that didn't get added before, who has the better idea that's going to help solve a problem, instead of who's going to be finished first and have everything done only to minimum specifications. The girls tend to excel at going above those minimum expectations and bringing in things from other classes. So I want to be able to reward that, so I do with the grades, I do with projects, giving them more time. And developing rubrics or ways to assess them that also have a capacity to build in this we model instead of me.
So you're rewarding them for going out on a limb and thinking outside the box, whatever analogy you want to have, not necessarily for perfection or the perfect project.
Right.
When it comes time for parent-teacher conferences, how do you explain that to the parents?
The parents want their kids to get A's. They want their children to have choices. What they don't realize is those engineering classes are built for those girls not to have choices. So once I explain about this model of collaboration instead of competition, I bring those parents in. The boys' parents tend to think it's as good idea as the girl parents. It's this idea that when they get to the workplace, they're going to have to work together. It's not going to be getting it done. It's going to be making that battery better, making that cabinet more efficient, making the bridge stronger. It's not going to be about who finishes the bridge first. And so communication is what helps very much with getting the parents on my side. Once they know, they're on my side.
Some people have a natural dislike of group work.
Yes.
Seems like there's always a leader and there's a weak link and then a bunch of people in the middle. How do you address that?
Partly it's teaching them how to work in a group, showing them the model that it really works with, instead of the split it up and everybody do a task, how to build on it. So it's direct teaching of that. And I do that through all of my coursework. And since I'm a small school, I get them in 7th grade, so I can teach them in 7th and then 10th and then 12th and then as a senior. And that's the way the real world works. The real world does not work in a cubicle by yourself. The real world works in a model where everybody contributes to a project. They need to learn that in high school instead of when they're at their first job.
Thanks so much for being with us. That's all the time we have.
Thank you.